I have had a rental history. I've been a landlord in the past. When I lived in Chicago from 2002 to 2007, or 8 actually, for those of you that may not have been in business at that time, that's when the market crashed. And I had a darling little townhouse in Old Town of Chicago that suddenly just went underwater by like 50%. So, yeah. And I was like, I'm going to rent it out and move back to Minneapolis, which I did. Which was nice, and I had these lovely tenants in there, except that every time it rained in Chicago, the basement would flood. And I had to have someone come in and dry it out, or sometimes cut the drywall, or sometimes do all these other things. So I got to a place where every night I'd lay in bed and watch the weather in Chicago and so I got a little bit not super happy about investing in real estate at that point, and kind of cut my losses on that, and then moved to Minnesota and bought a townhouse for my little family to live in until we could kind of figure out what our plan was, right? Well, that townhouse about 3 years ago turned into a rental property, which was really successful, and I thought maybe I can do this. I had tenants in there. I think they bothered me once for a $200 fix, and they were in there for 3 years, and it really was lovely. Which gave me the idea then that maybe I could try a little something more. I knew the Super Bowl was coming, and my family had moved out to Wisconsin, which isn't that far away, but sometimes in the winter it is far away. And sometimes I do things like this, and then in the morning I have a thing, so I was like, it'd be nice to have a little place in Minneapolis where I can crash, and not necessarily have to run back to Wisconsin every single night. So that was the impetus behind buying this, and I closed on it in early September. And then realized pretty quickly if I started blocking off nights to be here, then I wasn't going to get it rented out. So all of a sudden I'm not staying here at all. And the intention for it isn't really happening, but we're having a really successful experience with being Airbnb hosts. My partner does all of the work. As far as turnover, maintenance, hosting people, getting them in, you saw maybe when you walk in that we have a keypad. That has worked out really well for us because we don't need to meet people when they want to come and go. It's just self-entry. That has been lovely. And we've learned a lot of little things in the meantime. There are people in this room, I can see them, who are much more skilled and should probably be leading this conversation. But since we're here, I'll do it. But I'd love for you to interject. So we felt as though me blocking off time to come here and stay was going to actually be a big detriment to what we're trying to do, so we can that. And now we have had, I don't know if you can pull it off, Scott, but if you look at the calendar, we started around October 12th. We owned it for about 30 days. It took us 30 days to figure out how to furnish the freaking thing. I am the master of Kohl's.com, just so you know. I can double down on the Kohl's cash, and I can do some serious business in furnishing out very little money. So I could always give a little class on that someday. But if you scroll through the calendar, if you guys can see this, we've been super fortunate, and since starting in October, have had very little vacancies, and now in December we have a gal staying for about 3.5 weeks, and then just last week we had a gentleman reserve almost the entire month of January up until we're going to have it blocked for the Super Bowl. And of course our thoughts behind all this is the Super Bowl. Let's get rid of the Woodbury property and get ready for the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. That was kind of our thing that made us say go. Our thoughts when purchasing this property was purchased for $215,000. That's a really nice price range. And our thoughts were we want something that will cash flow as a rental. And we'll do the Airbnb now while it feels like it makes a lot of sense. But when it doesn't make sense for whatever reason, like the tax, the hotel tax or whatever comes into play and it suddenly doesn't make sense, we want to know that we have an investment that is going to be really solid for us. So we wanted a 3-bedroom for that reason. So you guys saw the upstairs is empty if you weren't up there. We were kind of like, let's get this thing up and running and we'll furnish it later, or the upstairs later. So that's kind of the impetus there. We're going to furnish it shortly so that we have the full house ready to go for the Super Bowl. But that has worked out well for us, and we do have some air mattresses that we will ask a lot of people to use if they want to crash some extra people up there. So that's worked out really well. a couple things that I've learned, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but a couple things that I've learned we quickly figured out we need to have 2 sets of everything so that we can pull all the bedding out, put all the new bedding in, and we don't have to stand around and watch the washing machine for 4 hours. That's not a fun thing. So we've got 2 sets of everything, and we actually are under contract now to close on another one just kind of up the street over here at the end of December, where we intend to do the same thing, except in that one we got smarter, and we decided we need one that has a basement, a finished basement with a bathroom in it, so that I can come in and out of there when I want to and stay, and I don't have to disrupt our business of the Airbnb. So now I've got this magical thing that's going to happen over there, and we just went on, it's Black Friday sale at Kohl's, so it's like, and I spent my whole Sunday on there just pretty much purchasing exactly everything that we have already in this unit, so everything can be interchanged from the bedding to the dishes to the silverware to everything is the same exact model, same exact style, same exact everything, and it'll give us that flexibility to move everything around. And now I just have one shopping list on Kohl's.com, so I can kind of like call the guy on the phone and push it through. Which we called on Sunday, he was like, "How many items are you purchasing?" And I'm like, "It says 102." He was like, "Okay." Our UPS man loves us. So what you see here has been a little bit of Craigslist furnishings, but mostly Kohl's. And is the furniture the highest quality? Not really. But I decided I wanted to go that route to make it look a little bit cleaner and more photogenic than a Craigslist type of look for sofas. I also have a thing about, bed bugs. So this is from Craigslist. The kitchen table is from Craigslist, which all worked out pretty good. But that's a lot of running around too. That you have to make time for. In the bedrooms are standards. We're going to have standard beds in every single one of these twin beds. So all the sheets fit every single bed. Or not twin. What is it called? Full size bed. Everything's interchangeable. Just as uniform as we can keep it is what we feel like will be our best bet on that. What am I missing? You were going to ask me questions and I just said
Is it required to get the license?
We did get the rental license for Minneapolis. It actually wasn't required when we purchased it, but I think it was about a month ago that Minneapolis put through that law that if you had an Airbnb, you had to have a rental license. So we do have it licensed, and we're keeping an eye on things to see if they are going to start taxing us as a hotel.
Is it a different rental license from a regular?
Okay. Nope. We just got the regular rental license. Yeah.
Does somebody know the difference between a short-term rental license in Minneapolis and a long-term standard lease or rental license?
Yeah, they haven't actually even done it yet, but the form starting in December will have a new box you can check for short-term. When you try to ask them the question, but what if I want to be able to do both, which I might want to do, they get confused and say they'll call you back and they don't know. But I mean, if you get a rental license, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah. It's $1,000. It's worth it.
Yeah.
$1,000
To convert it.
Is it $1,000 for 1 year?
No, to convert
That's
it.
the conversion.
That's the conversion.
$70 a year.
Yeah.
If it's tier
$7 a
one.
year?
For the short term or for the?
Or
No, that's for
$450
regular.
if you're the new owner, which is always fun.
Yep.
And pointless.
What do you mean to convert it? Sorry.
If it hasn't been a rental before and now it's going to be a rental, then a lot of times they charge you double. So it's usually closer to $500-ish to get your rental license the first time, the first year, and then subsequent years are like $70, $100. It's very cheap. That first time they get you a little bit. So.
And then don't let them charge you 2 conversion fees for 1 duplex. It really should only be 1. Only in very, very rare cases are there 2 property entities or whatever it even is. I don't even know. But all my houses were owner occupied, so I was concerned that I'd have to pay $1,000 to convert the other half of the duplex because it was now all going to be rental. It's not the case.
Yeah,
But they were going to take my money at first, and fortunately the lady was nice and looked at it. So.
Nice.
Is there an inspect? Is there
Pardon?
an inspection?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
What's the requirement, like what's the main requirement for the inspection?
There's a TISH inspection whenever there's a sale. So as long as you meet what the city's inspectors are looking for, which is pretty much, to code, outlets, GI, stuff like that. It's pretty standard. We didn't have a lot of stuff that we had to rectify.
Kim, can you talk a little bit about the settings you have set for your Airbnb? Maybe if you have a block of time before or after turnovers, if you have a minimum stay, if you charge a security deposit. Can you talk about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we blocked off the day for this. But other than that, we don't block, which means that my partner has a really flexible schedule and is in and out of this place a lot. But can predict it, you know what I mean? There's every once in a while you get one that sneaks in and then we can figure it out. And then we know enough, we have enough connections that if I needed someone to get here and turn it over for us, we could figure it out. So I think that has allowed us to have really good bookings, although I did kind of think, I wished over Thanksgiving and stuff like that, we would have made a little bit more of a stay requirement. We don't have a minimum night stay.
Okay.
We charge a pretty minimal cleaning fee of $25 a pop, which I think we should increase. Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's cheap.
$25.
That's why you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why we're booked up all the time, right? But we look at it as kind of sweat equity for right now.
What is nightly rate then?
So we charge $75 during the week and $125 during the weekend. And again, we made the mistake of over Thanksgiving not charging $125 for that span, which we probably should have done on New Year's and Christmas. Right now we have the Super Bowl marked at $2,000 a night, with the expectation that as we get closer, we'll start to adjust that based on what we're seeing happening out in the market. But we could someone wants to just move that for $2,000 a night.
Have you had any hits on that?
Pardon?
Have you had any hits on 2,000 a night for 200?
No, but one day the thing like readjusted.
Yep.
And all of a sudden we got a booking for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I jumped in the air.
And I'm like, what did you do? And we were able to like decline it right away. Raise the prices. I
Oh,
was like,
because
there
you had
goes the whole
it,
dream.
you had it slow. But since you put it to
Yeah.
2,000, you haven't had any interest.
No, we haven't had any interest at all. And I'm not really expecting anything until we figure out who's going to the game. It's like nice. We don't have it at smart pricing right now. Yeah, we have it set, and I think we might raise it just based on the fact that we've been booked and kind of play with it a little. February, we're anticipating is not a good month to test that model, so we'll probably leave it for February, and then in March start to play with the numbers a little bit to see what we can come up with.
So I've noticed that smart pricing is very conservative. If you think about Airbnb, they're going to want occupancy rates high, so they're going to probably keep their prices a little low. And oftentimes it's based off of what other properties are priced in that area as well. There's a really good Bigger Pockets podcast on Airbnb specifically, so if you guys want to listen to that, it breaks out those numbers pretty closely.
Come on in, you
Come on
guys.
in, guys.
Make room. We're coming in. Room on the floor for those that want to sit crisscross applesauce.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Come on in, guys.
Come on, you guys can go any inside on the ground. That's great.
I can't stop it.
Good crowd.
So to get approved to be a member, going for any interviewing or sign up, the great thing about Airbnb and a lot of these share platforms is you're being approved by everybody that's being there. As you're interviewing, so if you're worried,
Yeah. What we did, we just signed
yeah,
up.
it's really.
Kimmy, speak up. Kim. Speak up.
Sorry. When we first put ours on the market for the first 2 weeks, we put a crazy low price just to start getting people in. And then we treated them like royalty because my friend Peter Everest told me it's like those first 10 reviews that are going to make or break how this is going to go for you. So we're like, they've got kids, where are the milk and cookies, you know, like, and we're trying to do all these, like, things, and put beer in the fridge, if, you know, that would have never really Yeah. So we did a couple fun things for the first few guests, and we still try to do that, but that we were really intentional about, because we wanted to make sure that those first reviews were all 5-star, and now I know we have 9, we might have got a 10th, and they're all 5-star, and so now as of January 1st, we will be super hosts, which, Margie, that means you're like at the top.
It doesn't mean as much as they say it does. I mean, the only thing that might hurt. It's like having the thing at the airport. What's it called? You know,
I love that.
The TSA free check, like everyone kind of, many people have it now, shall we say?
Yeah.
But what it does help you is, I think, get higher in the rankings.
Yeah.
So like, there's 1 or 2 people in Minneapolis who have like 200 plus reviews. So I don't know what we're going to have to do to get past that. But,
Yeah.
that's where it mostly comes in.
Okay.
Are you featured first then when you're
I think as you're a super host, you start, and the more reviews you get, the more you start to move up. So we're talking about ways to incent our people to review. And so kind of trying to figure that out. This is such our whole world right now is review. You know, Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, and even when you're picking like realtors and mortgage people and all that kind of stuff, with us too, we're always thinking about reviews. It's just so heavily reviewed right now. Somebody gave me a statistic where if a friend refers you to someone, they're still going to base their decision on the reviews they're reading online, even with a personal referral. So reviews are just the way that our world is moving right now.
Did you or anybody live in the property before to make sure everything was like good to go?
No, and so that our first people would be like, hey, this is one of our first times, we really want your feedback, tell us what you're seeing, and we were really open with them, and they were like, well, the doorknob in the bedroom doesn't work. And we're like, oh my god, and then the guy was like, the toaster won't stay down. But they didn't put it on the main, you know, they did it to us privately, because we brought it up right away. We're like, please let us know, we'll come right over and do anything. And people were really awesome. I mean, we've been floored by the great grace of the people that are staying here, and how thankful they are for the stay. So we try to give that back to them and make it a really personal experience. And then, you know, those are the things they'll tell us in private that we can do better. We do have a ping pong table downstairs, which we inherited in the house. And I'm like, that has been like a huge hit for people who play ping pong in the basement. We also inherited a trampoline, but we figured that was too much.
How many hours a week is your amazing partner, or a month I should say, spending on turns and all the joys of booking everyone?
Yeah, so my partner is kind of getting like a little bit of a weird high off this whole experience. So for right now, yeah, it doesn't matter how many hours go into it. But you know, in December we have like 2 turnovers, so that's almost nothing, which will be great because we'll have the new property coming, so we'll be able to like do all that. And in January, I think we have 1 person the whole month, so it makes it more tolerable when you have these weeks of constant turnover. But this is like what he does. You know what I mean? So his schedule is extremely flexible to be able to do that.
And he's doing the laundry as well?
Yes.
You just bring it to the laundromat?
Bring it home, run it through. We've done it here, but then you're like, waiting forever. So yeah, we have the 2 sets that we can swap out and just get it out of here and get it cleaned up.
Why not just long-term rental it so your poor partner doesn't have to spend 30 hours a month driving back and forth and doing laundry?
So far, the reward for it has been worth it. The benefit from the income.
Versus a $200,000 multifamily? Like, obviously, a single family. That's my question. Is in my head, I have long-term, push the button, get great people in.
Yeah.
Hopefully, not see you for like a year. That'd be great. And that's what I'm trying to weigh compared to Airbnb, where I know there's texts and there's I'm locked out and I can't get the thing to work and the toaster won't go down and whatever.
Right. You know, we have been really lucky with that piece of it. The maintenance stuff has been really well. And this is kind of like a right now for us, you know what I mean? So someone like you who is in a super busy career, you know, like I couldn't manage.
Yeah, I mean,
But it just works out great that we've got that,
sure.
you know, time to do it. With the intention of having that become like a full-time role with our Airbnb.
Got it. So you eventually would maybe hire someone to manage the multiple properties
Perhaps.
or something, or outsource it?
Yeah,
Okay.
perhaps. But like in December, we're gonna double our cost to run the home, and and the mortgage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If we were to rent it out, we would clear that by about $200.
Okay.
In December, we'll double our cost. You know what I mean?
So yeah, so what's your
So,
percentage
how much are you
wise,
making?
or what is your cap?
What was November for you? What's November?
In November, I think we cleared about 2,100. And our cost.
And how much of that is paid?
The cost is 1,400.
How much
That's
is
your
that?
PITI.
That's
basically,
PITI, all
plus
the
like
everything.
soap and everything.
Heat and yeah.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, you got private. Yeah.
And does that include time for your partner?
We're not. No.
How much is cleaning fees? They don't say it.
We're only charging $25.
I know, but the total for the month.
Oh, I think it was 175 or 200.
Is that built into the 2,100 best? The cleaning fees are built in because your
Yes.
partner's doing that.
Well,
Yeah.
and frankly, you couldn't get it done for $25.
yeah, you know that.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't. No.
I know somebody managing Airbnbs and they're charging 20% off the top.
20% off.
Yep.
20% of the total booking.
Yep.
For cleaning fee?
For everything.
No.
On top of 10% adherence fee.
Not just to manage it, that's not to clean it too.
Yeah. They're cool.
Oh, they are?
Oh, they are.
Where are these people?
Oh, I should let her ask me. I know,
It's very
it's
well
very
done December,
so.
That's Scott.
Yeah, it's got it.
You said both of your has the name on it.
Oh, yeah, it's got it.
All right, he's gonna be a busy guy.
So
Yeah,
for someone
this
to
is what our
manage
December
a
looks
property,
like.
what is a typical fee or percentage?
Well, it'd be 10%, but she's saying for 20.
And they come out same thing, like they've got a listing of all of here's
Yeah.
here's our system. They just give it to you. They say like it'll be about $4,000 or $5,000. They clean like and they'll just furnish it and kind of roll it out.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, the purpose for us getting into this is a little bit more unique than it is for most investors, where the purpose was for this to kind of be a crash pad for me that we'd make extra money on. And then we're like, oh, well, that's going well. So then we decided to get the other one, which our expectation is that the other one will totally cover the cost of the house, and then I have a place to stay for free whenever I want to stay.
Kim, talk about the financing and how the income is a little different than a regular.
So we use commercial financing on this property. That was just the best fit for us. And with commercial financing, they look more at what's called the debt service ratio, how the property will perform as a rental, as opposed to you as a buyer. Where when you finance with me, it's more about you as the buyer, and the property is a little bit more secondary. So in this case, that was just our best fit for financing this. But you can acquire these type of properties in both ways. Typically, the same down payment. Our down payment on this was 20%. Conventionally, we could have done it for 15%, but probably would have done 20 anyways. So, yeah.
What was your capital cost?
I'm sorry, what?
Your capital cost.
What was your capital cost?
To furnish it.
Oh,
rate.
to furnish it?
No, your rate.
Pardon?
Interest rate?
Yes.
What was your
my
interest rate?
Is 4.25%. Pardon? What bank? Firefly Credit Union. Not that you don't want to get a regular mortgage. Much better. And it's a 5-year, which is, again, fits into our plan. So we're comfortable with that 5-year term. There was something else. Oh, to furnish it, I was trying to look that up before I came over here, and I think we ended up furnishing it for, I think it was around 4,000-ish or so. And then I figured out how to lower that going into the next one based on some mistakes we made.
Such as?
Right. Little things like sheets and the Black Friday sale at Kohl's. is gonna be a big winner.
Better somebody once a year.
Right?
Do you have a
And,
lot of cold stock that you're trying to?
now that I know a little bit more about it, I can monitor these things, and when, pillows go on sale for $2 a pop, I'll just pick up 10 of them, you know what I mean, and we'll just hang on to them, because those are the kind of little tiny things that'll help us out.
Hey Kim,
Yeah.
you talked a little while ago about the reviews, how important the first 10 are. Can you give us what are the table stakes of what every Airbnb host has to provide, and what is the above and beyond to get those 5-star reviews?
Yeah, I think everybody expects a super clean, well-furnished, comfortable, cozy feeling. That's what we get from most people. We are stocked with dishes and cooking utensils, and all the stuff that you would need to basically function in this home as a long-term resident here. What I think is crazy is the fluffy towels. We got these fluffy towels, and we literally are spending more on towels than I would, I usually would do the cheapest towels I could get, but we actually buy nicer towels, and almost everybody compliments the towels. But if you think about it, when you guys go to hotels and you travel and you get a nice towel, you're like, oh my god, these towels are fantastic. And so we all about these fluffy towels. So I don't think, but that has been a really unique one for me. And sometimes I wonder if we had higher quality sheets, if we would get some compliments on that too. They find the beds comfortable, which is what's totally Scott's recommendation. He can tell you what the beds are. People compliment the beds a lot, and they were really inexpensive.
How much were they?
Don't get used beds. Right around 4. And they're 400.
They're full.
No, they were
right?
Fulls.
Low. And you got any negative feedback on them being
No.
full?
You got them at Lowe's? Those do feel comfortable.
I was surprised that we haven't gotten any.
They didn't feel clean and nobody said anything
It's on
about it.
Facebook.
No, not a bit. I was shocked too.
Had to come show up at your door.
That's snuggy. That's, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Even they're on a romantic.
We've noticed, especially from the get-go, is setting those expectations. So, Glenn, if you turn around, there's sheets on the wall that talk about the property as a whole and how this place functions, and passwords and logins, and just giving a sheet that says the house rules and all the things related to this home is very important to somebody walking in and be like, how do I use this place? Because it's not like a normal hotel. It's a little different. There's nuances. The warm might be cold and the cold might be warm. So just indicating those things goes a long way in setting those expectations.
And did you say that you do not come here, welcome, check-in, check-out?
Yeah, we've got to keep that on the door so people can enter.
Okay.
And when
You don't actually come, there is no
and escort them in.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, which in the first few Airbnbs I stayed in, that was a huge hassle to try to coordinate exactly where you get there
Right.
and let each other in. So that's been nice. Glenn, I don't think you were here when we were originally talking a little bit about the extra specials. Which you asked
okay.
about,
Yep,
what's
sorry.
extra special about what you think would be standard. So if a family's coming, we'll have milk and cookies, and if we kind of get an idea of what they want to do, like one of them wanted to go biking, so we made sure we had like a little map of the biking trails around Minneapolis and stuff like that. So we try to pick up on those little things and make sure we're delivering something special as often as we can to the people that are coming. And then for the long-term people that are going to be here, we're offering like weekly service to clean and do stuff like that too, just to keep an eye on it while they're here to make sure everything's going well. We get a lot of requests for dogs, and we did turn one down. They wanted to bring 2 pit bulls, which I personally didn't have an issue with. However, like we talked to our insurance agent about it, and they're like, well, and they didn't want to crate them when they were out of the house. And I think regardless of what kind of dog it would have been, were they not willing to crate them when they left, they're like, yeah, that's not going to work. But we did allow another girl to bring her dogs, and she was crating, and she was great about it, and we charged her a $300 deposit, and just to kind of make sure we had coverage in case anything went sideways.
Do you just have normal?
No deposit, no.
Did you charge extra per night for the dog?
No, just a deposit.
So talking about the house rules and making mess and maybe trashing the place, when the big event is coming, do you make any policy or fees?
We will
for-
charge a deposit for the Super Bowl. And I
Like-
wish we would have charged a deposit for New Year's Eve, because that was a little sketchy to me. Yeah, we'll definitely charge a deposit for the Super Bowl.
And what will be the amount? Like,
We're not sure yet. I think it's going to depend on their reviews, their experience on Airbnb, how long they're staying, what they're paying. Part of it was like, if they're willing to pay $1,500 a night, does a deposit even make sense? You know what I mean? If they're going to stay for 4 nights. So a lot of it will depend on that. It depends on where our pricing will come in and stuff.
Any different in the insurance? Could you do insurance?
Pardon?
Any different in the insurance?
Airbnb does have a policy, a small policy, but our insurance agent, who is phenomenal, recommended that we do have an umbrella, and he said the umbrella would cover a lot of issues. And then you put kind of like a transient type of endorsement on our policy for the in and out stuff.
So
I
your
was on
normal.
merchant account. Does credit card charged by Airbnb or we have to do that?
It's all through Airbnb.
Through Airbnb. So
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about merchant.
Nothing. No.
If your guests create any damage, Airbnb covers that too.
Oh, really?
Really?
You're insured up to.
If you're,
So
Like,
yeah,
say, really? I
they
heard your story.
just take good photographs. They try to negotiate with you a little bit on stuff.
Interesting.
So like, I had a dog that may or may not have created heat. And
That's an interesting way to put it.
they may have been there prior, I don't know. So yeah, I negotiated with them.
Interesting. That's good to know.
So
That's good to know. The question was, how do you accept and transmit payment, and it all goes through the Airbnb.
How much time do you get between turnovers? Do you give yourself like 12 hours or are you 24 hours?
We have checkout at 11 and check-in at 3.
So it's that window?
Yep, but usually we're really communicative and, hey, when you leaving, we want to get in there and clean. It probably takes about an hour. So it is pretty easy to get in and do that. Sometimes, people, they're not getting something right. That's another nice thing about the dad. We try to leave the porch light on, and then they can get their way in and get in. We're not standing on for this to show up.
Do you ever change the keypad number?
That's such an interesting question because we just had that conversation yesterday. There's a gal on that podcast, and she talks about that too. And she says, I've never changed it. I've never had to worry about it. If they want to come steal my cool stuff, yes. Maybe the TV, but everybody's going to see them like backing out of the house with this giant TV. So, I don't know. So far, we're not worried about it.
Is your property listed on any of the others?
Not yet. We've had so much success with Airbnb that we haven't. Although Scott and Brew led us to a few, like, traveling nurses and flight attendant, pilot type of sites that are out there too. That would be an amazing deal for stuff like that.
Any complaints from the neighbors?
No, right? Right. They're gonna be like, what's going on? No, we have not actually, and this is a lovely neighborhood. And we first started getting ready to like, I'm feeling a little guilty. Our kids are all playing, and the neighborhoods are like, "Will you be my new friend?" But our guests have been real polite and gracious, and we have a thing on our little house rules, about that this is a neighborhood, and I don't know. So far, so good. Keep our fingers crossed, and we're really diligent about reviews. I don't think you can auto-book on our website without at least a 4-star review, and we'll review anything under that. So that's one.
How do you review? If I come and book on your site for like so many days, how do you know that I'm good or bad?
Well, I don't if you've never Airbnb before, which is tricky.
Right. So
How do you get in your first Airbnb?
online.
Yeah, you gotta take
Yeah,
the
the
risk.
first year.
Yeah,
You don't know how do you prove.
I'll never know. If you gotta take a chance on some people. We did take a chance on one couple that didn't have like Airbnbs, and it was just fine. But we kind of communicated with them a little. What are you doing? Oh, we wanted to go biking. We want to do this. And then we kind of get this feeling that they sound pretty legit. We did have a gentleman coming from out of the country who didn't have any reviews. It was one of our first people, and we were having a hard time communicating. And we're like, we're just going to pass on this one, just because we don't know exactly what to expect. But I think you could also, and I know a lot of people have had a lot of success with people coming from other countries too, so it's just a comfort thing for us.
Question back here.
We don't take a chance on anyone for our listing. We require reviews if they have it, and if they don't have reviews, we say get references.
Nice.
And people do it.
Yeah. Or if they don't, we decline them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's your home. You have to be able to like draw a line.
Well, also, they live in the same house with them, so
Right.
that's
This is true.
a little bit.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, that's
Slightly different line too, right?
You can also, like, if you get your full name, you can stalk them on the internet. Facebook, like, look at their profile, and you can get an idea, sometimes via their pictures, whether they're cool or not cool.
like partying in every picture. Then
Yeah, I have to do those, and I'm like,
no, actually my partner will come offline and do texting, just because it's easier when you're, someone's gonna be checking in, you don't wanna be checking the Airbnb app every 10 seconds. So that works really well for us.
So that is okay to do after first conversation we have, then
Yeah.
you can
Yeah, well, he'll just say, text me at this number if you need anything. And it allows people to communicate. What other questions? I think, how much time do we have? It's getting hot in here.
7:30, Kim.
7:30. We got to rock.
What's your cost to run? I figured
$1,400 a month.
Is that including Airbnb?
Pardon?
Is that including Airbnb commission?
What we pay to Airbnb?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I would have to confirm that.
So Airbnb takes a percentage of each location. So that's 7%, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what is for December, November, that is after Airbnb took care of it.
I believe so.
Oh,
That's the big one.
So this is your earnings.
Yeah.
This $2,600 is what she will make after Airbnb
After
takes
Airbnb,
takes their money and taxes.
And that's
What she's
that's
bringing in.
pretty much booked solid for December, so that's that maxing out basically.
Yeah, I think we
Is
have
that
a
like
night or two off
that's
in
the best?
December, and that's fine.
That's your MVP month.
That's our MVP month, but our intention in March is just to raise our nightly, because we're clearly too low.
Did you incent the longer stays with like the weekly or the monthly discount?
Yes.
Okay.
Good question. Joseph, did they send you a 1099?
Just an earnings statement. This is what you earn for the year.
Oh, okay. It's like a 1099 then, right?
It's gotta be a 1099.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
I think that-
Check with their tax advisor. So Kim's got to get going, but we have 2 more questions for her.
We do?
Yeah, we do. Kim, what's your favorite real estate or business related business?
Okay, I know this is cheesy. But honestly, the best resource for me has been Scott and Joe. They they've shown me how to tackle it head on and totally inspired us. So that
And the last one is, what separates a successful real estate investor and somebody who just kicks tires and never actually gets started?
Yeah, it's action. It's totally action. And I've been working with investors for most of my career. And to be, helping people grow a portfolio and not doing it myself just kind of didn't feel like the right thing to be doing. But after my painful experience in Chicago, it was really hard to lick my wounds and move on. But I just decided it was time. It's now or never. Everybody always says, I wish I would have invested last year. And price points, people feel like are high this year. This felt like a really good investment for us in the long term. And so far we're feeling really good about it. So I think taking action, and people think investing is harder than it is, right, Max?
Yes.
It's so easy.
So easy.
It's so it is. If you checking out what your options are and finding out what you can do is all part of it. That's good. And sitting down with the professionals that can help you do it is a great way to start. So I decided I need to start practicing what I preached, and jumped in full force, just like my mentors taught me. So far, so good.
Scary.
Have you